Should have recorded. Okay, great. We're recording now, Christy, so take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. I laugh at my story because if you would have told me 4 years ago I would be here, I would have never believed you. I was certainly the girl that had her nose up in the air just about network marketing in general. I came from the fitness background, and I was a bodybuilder at the time. I was in PC, nationally qualified in figure. Absolutely loved competing. We had our third baby. So for some women, that just means they get pregnant and have a baby. For me, it means I gain a ton of weight, lose all my muscle mass. So I gained about 60 pounds. I'm 5'2". I typically weigh 125 pounds. So that's a lot for me. And, you know, I knew I wanted to compete after him. It was sort of like, okay, I've got to prove to myself I can do this one more time. And he was 10 months old and I was in a 6-month weight loss plateau, counting macros, eating clean, meal prepping, training 5 days a week, moderate amount of cardio. And I refused to cut my carbs just to see any more change. So I was pretty desperate. I was already using protein, already taking a good vitamin. And honestly, one of my really good friends who's also a figure pro just said, hey, look, I need a better product for my belly. She was just having issues with the quality of the proteins she was using. Would I be willing to at least try it? That was the angle she took with me. And so she sent me some protein and I logged into my back office and I saw there was a fat loss system. And I very quietly tried the 30-day. Within 2 weeks, my trainer noticed, other people noticed. I did 60 days. I'm so thankful I did 60 days. I did not stop at 30. And I had a great transformation story. I mean, I put on lean muscle. I lost stubborn body fat. And I looked the best I'd ever looked. I think I was on isogenics for about 8 to 9 months before I did finally put myself on the stage. But it certainly helped me get there. And my abs were the best they'd ever been. So I certainly had belief in the product. I had a long way to go in my belief in the profession. So I got busy on learning the profession. First and foremost, my friend that introduced it to me, I've loved her. We did other business pursuits together. We both sold online training. So we were trying to embark on the online industry. As a military spouse, I think I'd moved 9 times in 12 years. So being a personal trainer and having a particular business in one spot just was not an option for me. So the online feature of nutrition was very attractive. So I'd say for the next year and a half, I read GoPro. I listened to podcasts. I built my belief in the profession. The more I learned about the profession, the more I was like, oh my gosh, this job was made for me. Like I've been a networker my whole life. I just wasn't selling anything that I believed in. And thankfully, isogenics just won me over time and time again with the science, the research, the products, and the company, the culture of the company. I knew that I was in the right place. And then in 2017, I went to an NYKO and I finally got my why. And ever since I got my why, I went from just making some play money, paying for my competitions to my goal was to replace my husband's active duty income. So when he retires at 20 years, he does not have to get another job. So I'm close to that. He's about to get promoted, so I'm going to have to promote myself as well. But once I hit that why, it became a numbers game. I gave myself permission to make money. I think when you come from a fitness background, we would do our jobs for free. I want to help people feel good. I want to help them live all in. Like that is my mission. And I think part of my holdup was giving myself permission to earn an income. So did that help? I know it's fast.
Yes. No, I love that. So I'm just going to kind of ask you some questions. So tell me, you decided that, this sounds like a great fit for you. Can you kind of paint the picture of the team building aspects, like because this is the thing that I've noticed with my team. Either people start out and they get it. Like they get it. They have the belief, they're fearless, they'll talk to people and they're excited and they'll get some interest and it seems like it's just going to work, right? And it's going to take off and then it doesn't. I had that happen to me several times and it could be very frustrating and it could feel like, kind of like a kickback, especially when you have people that seem like they're going to join you and they're excited. And then I also have people that I think it's almost like getting ready to get ready. Did you have any of that experience and how did you get through to that wanting to just, when you did want when you got your why and you knew what you had to do? What was that journey like, getting to executive and then 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star?
It's just a firm posture. If you go to any Isagenix event, how many of you have been to events? Like, raise your hand. I can see half of you. You've been to an event. We all leave fired up, right? We all leave excited. We're full of momentum. If you're like me, if you're competitive, you're an athlete, you're goal oriented, like, it's all there. We know what we want to do. It's feeling that way all year long, regardless of the event. And I just had to believe and understand that, number one, part of my why was helping other people earn an income. And I can't enroll my way to 3-star and 4-star. You have to build a team. And so you have to pour into people, but you also have to let people know where you're going. And so I just really started to speak belief into where I was going, even when the momentum wasn't there, even when the excitement of some of my team, I have a lot of people come to events and then the excitement fades away. But I had to keep it. I keep it. It's right here in my heart. I know what I want. Time, like I do attract a lot of stay-at-home moms with small kids, and, that only goes so far with me because, my husband's gone right now. He's going to be gone next week. He's going to be gone 3 weeks in July, 6 months later this year. I am not a single mom, but I have to take every doctor's appointment, every grocery shopping. I do everything in the house. I volunteer about 10 hours a week for military spouses. So lately, my middle is just diagnosed with chronic illness. So we are at the doctor's office 2 or 3 times a week, just outside of regular things. So, there's days where I don't sit at my desk, but Isagenix is in my brain. It is on my phone. It is all of me. That when I have an hour, I know exactly what I'm doing with that hour. And there will never be, a week where I just don't touch my business. It's easy to let life pull you away. It's easy to let the actions of others pull you away. But the choices that you make is going to be what drives you to get you to where you want to go. One of the really big things that I learned the hard way. So who has family that is not doing their business or even the products with them? Anybody? Family or close friends? A few of you. Well, you guys are super lucky. First of all, I've only saw 2 hands. So, I love my family. I'm very close with my family. So after I did figure, I started powerlifting. So powerlifting was a completely different sport. You have to be strong. It has nothing to do with how you look. And I also wanted that. I'm amazing on deadlifts. And I got my dad into powerlifting. He'd never worked out a day in his life. And I hooked him up with a trainer that I respected, a colleague, super smart guy. 6 months later, this trainer had my dad off of all of Isagenix. And it broke my heart. I was butthurt. And that was my dad. My dad's the one that took me to all my soccer games, poured belief into me as a young kid. And now he's taking this hodgepodge of crap. Because he sort of idolized his trainer, and it hurt my feelings. I've had a few friends that have joined me, and they're all about it at the beginning, and then they just can't keep up. Life gets in the way. They get busy with time. All excuses I could have myself as well. Right. I'd say about 1.5 years ago, over a series of events, even my own dad, I had to realize that no one was going to build my business but me. I had to build my business. I had to build a team. People are going to come and go. But if you're so firm on your why and what you're doing, the people that aren't joining you yet, I promise you they will. My dad's coming to Celebration, y'all. If that doesn't speak to me staying in an alignment with what I said I was going to do and what I wanted, that wouldn't have happened. But I had to stay in alignment. I didn't let the trainer that talked my dad out of the products make me think he was smarter than me. He's not making any money, first of all, and he's not helping his customers. And I just had to let my dad do what he was going to do. I've had to let friends walk away from my business, and I think I also realized you're always going to be recruiting. You're always going to need new energy. And the people that are growing with you, pour into them, love on them, nurture them, be grateful for them, and even give people permission to take a break. I messaged one of my moms the other day. I said, look, you stay a consultant for me. I know, she gets this comp plan. She wants to earn an income. She has 3 kids under the age of 3. So life is just crazy for her. And it just meant so much to her that I kind of gave her permission to take a break, but I certainly expect her to come back. Like, I'm still going to be doing this. You will come back and grow the way I have, because I can show you how to do it because I'm doing it. So, friends, family, future business partners, current business partners, I think it's just staying so in alignment with where you're going and what you're doing, that you understand you will be the one that sets the tone for the business that you're going to build. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you said constantly recruiting and need of new energy. I can also totally relate. And I said it on your call last night that, people say like, wow, looking at where we've gone to now, but I have the same things. I've lost a lot of consultants along the way. I've had people I thought were going to be amazing that seemed super interested and very committed, and then they fizzled out. The same things. And like you just said, you kind of have to stay in your lane and just know that you're the only one that can control your success. Because all those things, I could have let that hold me back, and I could have given up, just like you're saying for yourself, Christy. So tell us, you mentioned income producing activities. And I know that could be a little different for everybody, but and I know everybody does get busy, and I'm like you. Like, even if, no matter what we're doing, I mean, Isagenix is just naturally on my brain. Like, it's not something I can turn off. And I think when it's a business that you take that seriously, and that this is like, before it even created the income it has, I knew it would. And when you know that and you believe in it, you can't shut it off. So it's kind of hard sometimes to relate to somebody that's like, oh, I'm going to get back into it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, what do you mean you weren't into it just the last few months? So I get that. It's very hard to relate to that when it's constantly on your brain, but everybody does get busy. And I know that it can be overwhelming, especially in the beginning, or especially when you're really trying to gain that momentum. So what do you feel are the top income producing activities that somebody that really does want this, and they're patient, they know it's going to take time, and they know that their time's limited, but what are some things that they can do in your mind?
Sure. So I'm mentored by Susan Sly. I'm sure you guys all know who Susan Sly is. So somehow along the way, I'm on that team. She says I inherited her lineage. So we call it daily method of operations. And so my business strategy is I grind Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Like, that is just my business strategy that works well when my kids are in school. We're out of school right now, so there is no strategy. But I push really, really hard for 3 days. I do all my team calls. So when I sit down, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. And it gives me permission to rest on Thursday and Fridays and the weekends if I want, or just kind of follow up moving forward. But I always encourage my team to know exactly what they're going to do. I have a lot of full-time employees on my team. They are full-time in another job, and they're growing Isagenix. And they're executives. I mean, they're doing well. So I want them to know what they're going to do. So touches, I call it touches. You need to be touching your business. And that can look like certain things. You need to be coaching your customers. I mean, for the first 2 years, I think I sent a welcome email, and that was about it. Now hey, how are, if they're buying enough BV of a 30-day supply, like, I want to be involved in their process. So they get my time, because that is a duplicatable part of your business when you have a repeat customer. So I use the Hit 'em Up app. I don't know if you've ever heard of the app. I organize either by a group, we are also doing a 9-day. We just did a legit fit challenge, or I'll organize it by the month. April customers, especially your new customers. Those are if you can rock their first 14 days, you've almost got a customer for life. So I touch my new customers. I am super consistent on social media. I do not post and pray. That is not my strategy with social media. It is to show people what I have to offer them, and a reflection of my life. And that is ultimately what people are joining. And I use stories. I will always be very transparent on stories. I absolutely love Instagram and Facebook stories. Facebook added it. That's huge. I get a lot of views on my Facebook stories. When you don't feel like it, when nobody's joining you, when you're not making as much money as you said you were going to make the year before, and it's the next year, when all your friends are Rick advancing and you aren't, you have to show up on all those platforms, or people are like, oh, that she's the next one down, and that, she said she was going to be a professional network marketer, and she's not. She's already stopped. And then prospecting. I am I use social media a lot, but I get out of my house and I go belly to belly as much as I can. I never meet somebody to try to sell them a product as much as I do meet them, shake their hands, friend them on social media. Hey, do you want to go have coffee? I mean, that's a lot of work, especially as a busy mom. I don't give up if my husband's home, I'm like that typical military wife that wants to be with her guy. So that means if I have an hour twice a week, I'm booking a coffee date to just develop a friendship. And I can't tell you how many customers I've gotten that have come from referrals of people who aren't doing this with me. So I've got neighbors who don't want to do it, but now I think have 3 or 4 new clients that found me through my neighbors that know what I do. So it's just, those are my touches, my most popular. Touch your customers. Always be prospecting. Where are you prospecting? If you work and you don't have time to prospect, you better be prospecting at work. It's conversations, and just very consistent on social media, no matter where your momentum is. Nobody knows where your momentum is. You do, but that's not the energy you want to put out. So, and then I always know my numbers and my targets. Depending on the promotion, Gina's been helping me with Leader in Action. I'm new to Leader in Action. That's never been coached to me before. But I wanted to win the Grand Caymans. And so I have been doing my best at following that. But before I did Leader in Action, it was just, okay, if I want to get paid a 6-figure income, what do I need to make a month or a week in cycles to earn that? And it was just tracking those cycles. Sometimes the cycles came because I was enrolling, or it came because my team was enrolling, but that cycle number replicated what I was doing in my business, whether it was rank advancements, enrollments. Obviously staying paid as is huge, but I don't really count that because that's an extra perk of staying paid as. I want to see my benchmarks. So I'd say targets are huge. If you don't have an enrollment goal, a cycle goal, it could be 1 person a month. It could be 10. It could be to create 2 consultants. Know where your business needs to bloom, and have that target. And the target can change, but if you don't know the target, you can't hit the target. And again, I'm a soccer player. I'm an athlete. Like, tell me I can't deadlift 350 pounds and watch me do everything I can until I can deadlift 350 pounds. Yes, and I did. So know your target, know your numbers. Consultant, brand new associate, 5-star executive, it's all the same. It will never change. It is the brains and blood of this comp plan.
That's awesome, Christy. This is really helpful. And I love always hearing from other leaders. And I feel like, do you guys hear such a common thread though from everybody that's kind of gone through this? Like the consistency, the belief, the staying focused, like all of that is kind of the connecting glue. Christy, a question for you. When you said you were kind of very skeptical and you weren't like really into network marketing prior, was it something that really changed quickly for you, or did it take some time to build your belief up in that? And how did you do that? Like and I think that everybody on this call has a strong belief, but they're talking to people who don't. So I feel like it's hard to, we can't just give up, because I know I came from that same mindset as well. But I just think if they can keep hearing how people kind of changed their mind and what they did to kind of, change that mindset, I think it would be helpful.
Sure, absolutely. I think what bothered me the most, especially coming from the fitness industry, I'm all about, calories, macros, knowing how to use, you can go lift in the gym all you want, but if you're not putting the right stuff in, you're just going to have more of the same. So coming from that industry, I would see the way never for my Isogenics, but other companies would promote their products. And it really made my skin crawl. I didn't feel like it was professional. I didn't feel like it was accurate. Anyone can sell any kind of product. And so I think maybe I definitely had an ego. I'll say that much. I had a big ego that the way I did it was the right way. And other people did it, there are still products out there. I'm kind of like, really? You're going to wrap it away. But, so I had kind of had a bad taste in my mouth for it. I say one of the very first things, I feel like Isogenics at the events we have the smartest people in this company, the most professional people who are real and raw. And they too probably didn't see themselves in this profession either. And they're just so genuine and authentic. I'd say the leaders on the stage, at first. Look, I had to get to an event. You guys, I'm so fired up for Celebration. This is the most people I've ever had coming. And the only reason I have that is because my posture towards the events completely changed. But I cannot be everybody's Isagenix billboard. They need to see what this company has that's different than me. Emily Vavra, Laura Stevens as a prior military wife, just other people that didn't love the profession either. And now look where they are, and they didn't have to compromise their integrity to do it. And so I think at the very beginning, I was a lot like you, Gina. I definitely sold a product. I didn't align my brand with Isagenix. At the beginning, I did great on enrollments, but I certainly masked it under my business was called FitNix at the time. And then the company itself helped me. I really grew with the self-development, at GoPro, Eric Worre, things like that. But I think the thing that came the slowest was the belief that I could do this and do it in a way that I felt comfortable about. And even though I still align myself with the company. So I think now I'm attracting gym owners and personal trainers, which I haven't done in the past. And I think it's because I want to assure them that you can love a product, you can partner your brand with a network marketing company, but you get to add so much value to your customers and clients that I just couldn't before, and always be about what you're about. And I haven't ever not been about what I'm about to represent Isagenix. I had to come to that bridge of belief that I could still be all of me, bodybuilder, power lifter, busy mom, while partnering with Isagenix and a network marketing company. And so maybe my give a shit factor, what other people thought, also probably changed. I'll probably say that. So, including like my own family, like you guys can laugh all you want, whatever. But when I'm taking my husband to the Grand Caymans, it's so, I don't know if that helped, but for sure the representation in Isagenix at first.
Yeah, I think so many people kind of feel that same way. What are some, just, last point here, but, we mentioned events and you mentioned your posture around events. What do you think separates people who are maybe product sharers and earning a few $100 a month, like you did in the beginning, and I did that in the beginning as well. It took me like a little over 2 years to get to my first event. And I know events, I would say, are key. I mean, if somebody really wants success, then that's one thing they have to commit to. After my first one, I knew that they were non-negotiable. Did you feel that same way? Like once you went?
Not yet. So I actually went to an event pretty early on. I was in tears that I knew I'd found where I was supposed to be. And then in 2016, my husband was deployed. Then he come home, and I wasn't in a non-negotiable place with it yet. I didn't know that I needed it yet, even though I had such a life-changing moment at my first event. And I didn't go to any events that year, and my business definitely reflected that. So I say that then I went in early 2017, I went to NYKO, had one person with me, and she was ready to go all in. And, just seeing her have the experience that I had all those years ago, I was like, okay, I can't consider myself a leader if I can't, how are you the CEO of your own business if you're not showing up at the events for your own company? So I've not missed an event since. I try to go to 2, for sure, Celebration and NYKO, 1 in between if possible. And I'll have 50 people with me at this celebration, just in my personal downline.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah. So in
Good
2 years, is that 2 years? Yeah. 2.5 years. The growth there that are coming to the event. I mean, that's hard to get people to go. It's hard to get them to childcare, drive, fly, what have you. But I just say, if you see yourself being where I am, this is what I'm telling you need to do. And if you don't, we're still going to be in the same place until you do.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And so other than getting to events, because I mean, leaders go to events, right? I mean, you won't see top earners not there. I mean, it's just kind of part of it. Other than that, what are some other things that you think separate someone who ends up taking it as maybe just a side hustle hobby to a legit business, whether it's part-time or full-time? But what are some other things that you see in your team or your sidelines or people you talk to? Like, what are some things that you see in leaders or people that are heading that way? What are their actions other than committing to events? But what are some other things that they do that you think sets them apart from the product shares that don't seem to grow from there?
The business builders as opposed to a product share. Yeah. They have to see themselves as a leader first and foremost. You have to see yourself as a leader, even if you're not yet. You have to know where you're going, and you have to be so firm in that. Coachable, you have to be coachable. And I do feel like I have a team of people that are coachable, but there's coachable and then there's taking action on the coaching. And I do have a lot of people that are getting ready to get ready or information overload and they're just paralyzed. And I'm just an action person. Like, I know I will feel so much more clear headed if I even just write a blog or make a Facebook post. So action and a commitment to that action, and then just embracing the journey, embracing that, it might take me 10 years to be a six-figure, but 10 years from a woman who stayed at home and never contributed to her household income to, a multiple six-figure incomer. Are you kidding me? Like, while I'm shuffling my kids around all the time and completely available to my husband because he's gone a lot. Who cares? Like, I'm going to help so many people along the way. They're going to have money in their pockets. You got to get fired about helping other people make money, right? This can't just be about you making money. You've got to be like, I used to work at GNC, y'all. Like, my senior year in college, I worked at GNC. Do you think I cared what product I sold? I made an extra amount of money if I sold this product this week, and they didn't call me and ask me for help, and they could bring all their friends in, and they didn't make any money for those referrals. So I absolutely love the fact that I'm in the fitness industry and I get to help other people, whether they're in the fitness industry or not. Stay-at-home moms, teachers earn an income. And I think when you can really cultivate an attitude that is in that posture, it's not a question of will you, it's just when.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Did you guys all give a thumbs up on the screen if you got something out of Christie sharing tonight? And I'll just say to you guys on the call and for your teams and for anybody watching the recording, our company is very generous. We have a great compensation plan. I was on a leader call with like a 5-star and above group. Rod was on with me. And, a lot of the leaders were saying how top earners in other companies are making about that $50,000 to $60,000 a year. And so with Isagenix, it's like, to be a top earner, it's almost felt, they were saying like they're 2 to 3-star people. It's like they need to be recognized because that would be a top earner at another company. And so, it depends. Not everybody has that 6-figure goal. Some people love what they're already doing, but an extra $20,000 a year would be life-changing because it would mean contributing back, giving back, maybe taking care of a parent who's ill, maybe vacations that they wouldn't otherwise have. So just know that you don't have to be like super successful in network marketing and making a multiple 6-figure income to share the income opportunity. When I started, the fact that I could pay our private school tuition was what I told people. And I know, Shayla, you know that because you were one person that I remember telling that to, that, hey, I'm able to pay our private school tuition because of this opportunity. Don't overthink it, guys. The income is income. An extra $500 a month could save people. I want you guys to really understand when Christie was talking about how she lights people up about the opportunity to earn income, it does not have to be huge, and you do not need to be making huge amounts of money to be able to share that. If you're getting your products covered and you're making an extra couple $100, you need to be telling the people that you're talking to about that, because I feel like we're missing the boat because Isagenix is so generous, and the recognition seems to be for those 6-figure and above earners. And it's honestly just because of the space. In other companies, $50,000, $60,000 a year is the top. Those are the top earners. And I think that's a pretty great income to earn from home with an online virtual business, right?
Yeah, I had two ladies. I guess it was last year. One had said she she was able to stop being on call. She replaced her on call work hours with her Isagenix income, and that was massive to her because she wasn't missing soccer games anymore. She didn't have to miss Taxi Mom, and she'd never mentioned to me that she volunteered to take on call hours to add income, right? So she was trading time for money. And then my another one of our, she calls herself the fit granny. She's replaced her teacher pension, and you know, it's just, it floors her that, so you know, it's not a lot. A teacher pension isn't a lot, but monthly she makes more at 2 years into Isagenix than she did from a teacher retirement salary that she had to work, what, 40 years to earn. So little things like that are super important stories to just keep it on your visual board and remember that yes, we can change people's lives with the products. Yes, your life can change with the income, but other people's lives will also change. And golly, that keeps me going for sure. I think that's what the point you're trying to make there, right, Gina?
Absolutely. And, having these conversations with people, I'll tell you, I had 2 recent conversations, and I was telling Rod, like, you start to see yourself develop and the posture develop because you start to see that you're having conversations that maybe a year ago or 2 years ago you wouldn't have had. So as you guys start to grow, you'll notice that about yourselves. And I started to have a conversation with this guy. And as we were talking, I just started to ask him some questions. And I think just because I was so approachable and I was just so interested in him, within the time that we talked, which was about 30 minutes, I found out he already had lost 60 pounds with keto. But we all know about keto, right? How long can you keep up with that? He really does want to make health his priority. He feels like he's trading time for money with his job. He's living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, these things he told me all of this because I was kind of having a conversation and telling him my story. And I did not say an incredible income or anything. I just said what we're able to do, that we work from home and we were able to get ourselves out of debt and this and that. And I asked him some questions. Now, in the past, I probably would have felt uncomfortable to have those conversations with somebody I just met. But I feel like humans they want to be heard. A lot of people want to be heard, and we just have to go first and have those conversations. And another woman I talked to today, when I was getting my nails done, we were just chit-chatting, and she heard me say I was going to the Bahamas, and she asked why, and I started to tell her, and she started asking me questions. And so I was digging a little further to find out what she was doing. And I found out just by having conversations and talking to her that she's divorced. She has no support from her ex-husband. Every single morning for breakfast, she has 2. She buys 2 of those bottles of Starbucks, like pre-mixed coffee drinks. I mean, I didn't even ask her what she had for breakfast. This was just her kind of chit-chatting about her energy being low and what she needs to get through the day. And I said, my goodness, I could probably just have you change that and change your breakfast and you'd be able to have a successful online business. So I got her information. But if I had just been my own, thinking, oh, I don't want to talk to somebody I don't know, or, all of that, it could be missed opportunities. So kind of have your eyes open for these opportunities. I think a lot of times they're right in front of us, but we miss them because we're just not making conversation and connecting with people. So I hope that helps. We'll wrap it up tonight. Next week, I'm not going to be back yet. So, or I will be traveling back, and I think I won't want to do a call. Sorry. I'll just be getting off the plane. So we'll skip next week, but we'll probably be kind of off the radar this week, enjoying our vacation. But please, guys, use each other. This is a team. I know that a lot of you guys are texting each other and keeping each other motivated about posting and keeping each other accountable. I love that. Please continue to do so. Post in our product page. Keep that momentum going for the people who just started. And remember to capitalize on this promotion this week. And again, Christy, thank you so much for being a guest and just sharing your story and your tips with us tonight. And we will see you in Nashville. So anybody that's in Nashville gets to meet Christy. All right, guys. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.